All right, guys, I'm going to take a shot at a big one. Humbly. I'm a little over my head on this one, but this question comes up all the time, like all the time, which is quite simply, why am I here? And some people are asking that question because they genuinely want to know what it is that they're here to accomplish, like what's their mission? Is it to accomplish something practical or family or to live through their heart more? And others are asking that question more from a metaphysical framework, which is like, how does it all work? And is there a God? And if he exists, how do I draw closer to him or communicate with him? And so this video simply is going to try to address that perennial question. And I'm going to do it in 3 parts. And the first is kind of explaining a little bit of the metaphysical. The second is then to personalize it a little bit more for you. And then the third is to pull the two of them together. And so as far as the first part goes, it is written, or it has been said, that in the beginning there was nothing. Like there's just nothing. And that nothingness, which if all there is nothing, then that nothingness is actually everything. And so that everything, or that state of infinity, grew aware. It awoken. It actually developed consciousness. And so I can't tell you how it happened. I don't have an understanding of it. I just have this image of pure light energy, or love, the highest of possible vibrations, becoming aware of its own existence. And at some point, it actually had read that it has been said that the divine, or the creator, existed in a timeless state of pure bliss for a very long time. And as it's the paradoxes of spiritual discussions. And as a consequence, it eventually, in that state of pure and utter bliss, it had a thought. This thought was, how do I know myself better? If all that is me, what's the mechanism by which I can grow aware of my intimate state of being, or my intimate self? And from that thought was born the universe as we know it, the physical universe. There's actually multiple layers within the astral and then the causal planes. But the physical universe was nothing more than the manifestation of thought into a reality as we perceive it, and then the creation of the soul. And the beautiful, remarkable part of the soul is that it has free will, which is ultimately, it's given the ability to pick and choose how it wants to behave. Remarkably, in each and every moment of choice, it's still the divine, or the creator, who desired to experience himself, experiencing himself through the choices of this free will being. Okay? So that is part A of the discussion, the creator's perspective, if you will. Part B of the discussion is you, as the physical being who has this soul, who is now on your journey. And for this whole thing to work, you can't really have a clear understanding of how it works. If you knew that there was an intention for your life and that there was a way back to the divine and that you had been created as an expression of God, but with your own free will, and that to traverse this universe most effectively, you had to do certain things, that would negate your own choice, your own free will. And so you got dropped into an environment of pure duality, which is, for there to be health, we must experience sickness. For us to experience cold, there has to be a state of warmth, right? For us to experience fear, then we also must experience love. Each and every one of the experiences in this realm carries an opposite equal experience. And as a result, you, as a free will being, get to choose each and every moment of each and every day what type of expression you're going to gravitate to. And so you have 4 primary energy centers: your thoughts and feelings, your words, and your actions. And each of those 4 energy centers can either reflect the energy of the divine, which we know to be joy as expression, and love as feeling, and compassion and understanding. The highest possible vibration is the vibration of the Lord. Or we can also express the duality, which is the other side of the experience, which can be said as more the egoic or the human expression. It can also, if you're thinking of like classic biblical literature, it would be like the devil's expression, or the opposite. It would be the selfish intention. It can be fear-based. It can certainly be greed and selfishness. It's usually coursing through with the degree of depending, could be guilt and shame. It's the opposite end of the vibrational spectrum. And so that becomes the duality, the experience of the soul, which is actively in a state, not knowing that they're here for that reason, of picking and choosing each and every day. All right, so that's part B of the discussion. Then you come to part C, which is, well, if that's the case, how do I know specifically what it is that I'm trying to accomplish? Because the concept of karma might be that I've wronged somebody at some point, and so I have to repay it, right? And always there's qualities in the soul that are of lower vibration, so we have to accentuate things such as self-confidence, or maybe we're trying to tap into our heart space, or perhaps this incarnation is oriented about being more devotional, and so we have to be stronger with our commitments to family. Everybody's incarnation have different areas that they're working on, and that's why you have so many incarnations by which you get to work on them. And so people will consistently ask, what is it that I'm intended to be doing specifically for this incarnation? And so now part C of this discussion is, before you arrived, your soul knew exactly what it was hoping to accomplish. Exactly. And then you come down here and it's a bit of a shit show, to be frank, but you try your absolute best. And if you have certain spiritual tools like meditation, and some people get into certainly prayer and yoga and all these different tools, they help quiet the human mind to give you a shot at trying to feel into your spiritual intention. But there's something even better that will actively get you there. And that's what I want to focus on in part C. And that is namely that you have to envision yourself as having a road. It's almost like if you put out your hands in front of you and you had a road that appeared, that would be the road that would call you forward. It's actually the divine calling you back to Him. And so when you incarnated, that road was very clear to you. The moment you arrived, however, there were 1,000,001 different distractions, all of which, in one way or another, were either designed intentionally or unintentionally, as a consequence, calling you off that road. And so if we think about that road as being an easy path forward, then everything else would kind of be in the weeds. And the further you are off of your path, the further or deeper into the weeds you are, the more your life is going to involve things such as conflict, volatility, unloving, or sometimes abusive relationships, or sometimes just complete loneliness because you're not able to connect with another. Certainly, certain traumas end up piling up the further you are off your path. It just gets heavier and harder and heavier and harder the further you are misaligned with the spiritual intention set forth for your incarnation. And all of it is simply a vibration. All of it is simply the byproduct of those 4 energy centers at play. So for example, if you find yourself deep in the weeds, and maybe you're in a fight with your partner or conflict with a family member, right? You can go deeper into that conflict and keep insisting that you're right and insisting that you be heard, or even seeking some type of revenge, and that will simply carry you further into the weeds. The moment that you invoke the energies of forgiveness, seeking forgiveness, and also forgiving yourself, or the moments of humility, recognizing that you can't possibly know what another person is experiencing, so trying to move into a state of forgiveness and with humility, that energy, which is incredibly high in its vibration, will now start to shift you back towards your road. And that's why no matter how many videos you watch, no matter how many spiritual gurus you listen to, no matter how many personal development seminars you attend or lectures, right, you take notes on, all that these type of discussions can do is try to orient your vibration, awaken your consciousness to see the amazing level of choice that's available to you in your vibrational situation, and aid, if it's done healthily, aid to carry you back energetically into alignment on your road. When you're on alignment, when you're in alignment and on that road, there's an incredible pull. It's a remarkable pull that calls you forward. And I've experienced it, and I know a number of other spiritualists who have gone through their own struggles but have found themselves largely situated on that road. And their days, not to say that it's always blissful, because it's easy to get knocked off of the road, especially now with the ascension underway, and there are actually dark forces that are working very hard to carry all of us off of our road with all sorts of energetic weapons, and that's a whole nother conversation. But in general, if you do your absolute best and you orient consistently back into the vibrations of love and understanding, compassion, forgiveness, and humility, you have the absolute best shot at situating yourself over time on that road and feeling the call forward. That call forward is effectively your mission. It's your reason for being here, being acted out in living color each and every day. You no longer have to wake up and say, I wonder what it is that I'm intended to accomplish today. By virtue of being on that road, you'll be getting called forward into exactly that. All right, guys, I hope it made sense. As always, I encourage everyone to throw down comments or, share the video, whatever you're supposed to do in this YouTube stuff. It's all intended to help share a beautiful message of light and love and to start moving everybody ever so slowly into that state of true awakening. With light and love, we'll speak with everyone again real soon.